What's going on, football world? It's Carter with X's and O's, and on this video I'm going to be discussing the basic coverage rules for a cover 3 cloud. I'm going to first start out by drawing an offensive formation. For this video I'm going to use a pro gun, tailback, fullback. Let's go ahead and split our Z or our flanker there. I'm going to use a pro gun open, and so I'm going to put my Y opened up or flexed out there. So pro gun open. Let's pre-snap number offensive wide receivers from left to right, 1 and 2. From right to left, 1, 2, and the fullback would be 3. I did do a video on pre-snap numbering of wide receivers that you can go back and check out. Pre-snap numbering wide receivers is always important because that is a great way to communicate defensively and offensively to players about what you want them to do. So I did do a video about pre-snap numbering of offensive wide receivers. I've drawn in my four-man defensive line. Let's say the huddle call was a 4-3 over, cover 3 cloud. So coming out of the huddle, they might call a right call, depending on your rules, but for the basic rules I use to set the strength of the formation, I would have one of my defensive players or all of them understand that this would be a right call. Let's talk about alignments and coverage settings for the secondary. Starting with the will backer, he's going to be outside leverage of number 2. Outside leverage of number 2 to his side. Okay, and then he's going to carry number 2. He's going to carry number 2 through the curl and into the flat. Curl to flat if necessary. Okay, and so based on this formation, I would have my will linebacker line up somewhere right there. Let's go to the cloud corner, because he is the other player. I'm going to put cloud CB. Okay, he is responsible for the curl to flat his side, but he is going to align, and I'll show you why, outside leverage of number 1 to his side. And he's basically going to jam and sink curl to flat. Okay, he's going to jam, sink, curl to flat, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we get to the diagram portion. I'm going to draw him in last, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. But let's move on to the Mike and the Sam and get them into the ball game. Mike and Sam backers. They're going to be inside leverage. And the rules are important, so I spend a lot of time on the rules because they're simple rules. There's landmarks, and when players understand this, it makes playing coverage so much easier. Playing coverage is never easy, and the players have to have the skill set, but it just makes playing defense and calling defense and understanding defense so much easier when you have numbering systems and rules to go with those systems. So the Mike and the Sam are going to carry number 3 hook to curl, and I do overlap zones a lot in my system because I like my man defenses to look like zone, and I like my zone defenses to look like man. And so let's get Mike. in this alignment, he'd be there. Now, based upon this formation, I would have my Sam linebacker split the difference between 2 and 3, and so the difference might be somewhere around there, and so I would put Sam in that location. So I would just have him. He'd be really close to this line. I'd keep him 3 yards off the line. So my Sam would maybe line up somewhere there. Okay, but again, he's going to be inside leverage of number 3 to his side. He wants to get to the inside leverage pretty quick. Because of pre-snap alignment, he's outside leverage of number 3, but he's going to take care of the hook to curl, and Mike is going to take care of the hook to curl to their side, but try to stay inside of number 3 on inside leverage. All right, let's talk about the backside corner. So the leftover cornerback and the strong safety. I put them in red because they are part of the deep third. And so they are going to be over the top of, well, let's just say on top of number 1 to their side. And I keep them I'll try to get them about 12 yards off the line of scrimmage by the time the ball is snapped. And then they are responsible for the deep outside 1/3. The deep outside 1/3. And then you have your free safety. And he is going to be in the middle of the field, probably anywhere between 12 and 15 yards, middle of the field. And he is going to be responsible for the deep middle 1/3. The deep middle 1/3. So if we just because the offensive formation is right in the middle of the football field, if we were to draw red lines down the hash marks, we could divide the football field into thirds. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, like so. Okay, now as I said before, you may want to disguise a cover 3 cloud with a cover 2. And so your 2 cornerbacks would look like that pre-snap, and then your safeties would look something like this. Free safety there, strong safety there on top of number 2. So you could disguise it. Now at the snap of the ball, right before the snap of the ball, in order to get into your cloud call, okay, your cloud corner is going to stay right there, but your safety on your strong safety is going to start working over the top of number 1 right there, and your free safety is going to start working into the middle of the field, getting to a depth of 15 yards, and then your backside corner is going to bail out, and he's going to try to stay on top of number 1 but get to a depth of about 12 yards. So it looks like a cover 2 in the beginning, but then knowing the cadence of the offense and your opponent, they can start rolling it, and we roll to that cloud side, and your corner can still sit up there and get ready to jam, but now we roll it into a cloud, and then by the time the ball is snapped, we actually look like this. Got our cornerback right on top of number 1, my free safety in the middle of the field, and my strong safety on top of number 1 on the roll side. And then my cloud corner would still be up there getting ready to jam and press number 1, which is one of the advantages of this coverage, is you can get some front side jamming going on, and you might want to do that. You might want to call the cloud call to the quarterback's passing hand. So then that quarterback's seeing his best receiver on that front side, getting jammed. He's going to start having to look at second and third reads. All right, let's put in some patterns here and talk about the rules, and then that'll be the gist of the video. Let's get that man coming here. Let's get a wheel concept on the front side. We'll get that press in there. Let's get a second part of that wheel concept. Let's say the Y tries to work the vertical on the back side. There. Let's get some type of chip and out going over here from the tailback, and then let's get a chip and some type of little Texas route or angle route coming back right into the middle there. All right, let's go to the will linebacker. We said that he's going to be outside leverage number 2, and he's going to carry number 2 curl to flat. So I did do a video on underneath zones. If you haven't watched that as well, go back and watch that. But the curl, okay, he's going to get his read. He's going to try to stay inside leverage number 2, but get to his curl. Now, as he opens up in this 45, if that quarterback is looking in his area, he may want to see one coming in behind him. He can help out on that post route. But if the quarterback does, or like I said, he's sitting here and the quarterback's still holding the ball, he starts settling down. He starts settling down right in there, and he's in that curl. Now, if that quarterback decides to throw to number 2 out of the backfield, because he is responsible curl to flat, he would have to run down, and he'd have to run down and get onto that flat route. All right, let's look at the cloud side corner. Let's look at the cloud side corner, and he is outside leverage number 1, and we're going to jam number 1. We're going to jam number 1, and we can jam for 5 yards. So we're going to jam number 1, and then we're going to sink into the curl. So then he's just going to sink from there, get into the curl. He might be able to help on that wheel route maybe, but he's going to settle down into that curl and start looking at that quarterback's eyes and seeing who's coming into his zones and feeling crossing routes and things like that. So there's the other curl. Mike and Sam. Okay, Mike is going to be inside leverage, or either of them are going to be inside leverage number 3 to their side. Mike doesn't have a number 3 to his side. Okay, so he's going to open up opposite of the Sam and get into his, settle down in his hook. He also, depending on the depth that he gets to, he might be able to help on this post. All right, but he doesn't have a number 3, so he's just going to open up opposite of the Sam and get to his hook. And then he might, depending if the will vacates or whatever, or he feels that post coming behind him, he may feather out over there into the curl. As you can see, I have him hooked to curl. All right, so they got a little bit of leeway, and they can feel who's coming into those zones. Sam is going to be inside leverage of number 3 to his side and carry him to the hook to curl. So he can come down there. He might meet him, jam him up, and then he's going to stay inside leverage, stay in between him and the quarterback, but he's also in the hook. So as you can see, we have a cover 3 where we have 4 underneath zones, the 2 hooks and the 2 curls covered, and then we potentially might have to run up and cover the flats. So there's our 4-man underneath in the underneath zones. All right, now as far as our corners, our backside corner, our free safety, and our strong safety. Okay, they are responsible for the deep thirds. They are the 3 safety support. Maybe and make sure I want to put that in there, but these 3 guys are safety support. They're the deepest on the football field. Nobody gets behind them. Safety support. Alright? And they're responsible for the deep third, as I said. Okay? This is a cover three. Three deep guys. Alright, the cornerback on the backside is responsible for the outside third. I have the field divided into thirds, so he would just stay in his outside technique, stay on top of that one route, and he might carry that one route all the way through his zone, but also watching for others coming in behind him. But he can stay on top of number one and help out that free safety. By the way, the players responsible for the outside thirds, so in this case it would be the corner and the strong safety, they are reading 1 to 2. So if one goes in, they're looking for two coming out. But they have to be attacking the deep third. So one is coming in, but two is going out, but it's nothing that's threatening the deep zone. So he can stay on top of number one because there is no number two threat coming into the zone, if that makes sense. Alright, on the backside, the strong safety is reading 1 to 2. So one goes in shallow, the strong safety's eye should go to 2, and he's going to have to stay on top of this route because it is attacking his deep third. Alright, the free safety is going to be looking at a window in between the twos. So he's going to look at the twos, and any receivers in there, he has to see all of it. He's going to be so far back he can still see what's going on with the ones if he's a really good safety with his vision. But most safeties are going to have a starting point, and you want your safety to also read the eyes of the quarterback. So he's going to kind of look through this window that I have between the twos, both two wide receivers, kind of splitting the difference in between both number 2 wide receivers with his eyes. Okay, now as he's going back, alright, he should see this number 2 going shallow, and he should see this number 2 going shallow. So now his eyes should automatically start snapping to the ones. Alright, and number 3 could start to get to him, but you know, number 3 should be carried by that Sam linebacker for a long time. So the safeties rules are looking 2 to 1. He sees this number 2 go out, he sees this number 2 go out. He has to be looking for the number 1s coming in, and he is the deepest man on the field. So he's back in that middle third, and he might have to help out on the X receiver coming in right there. And he's also kind of reading the quarterback's eyes, but he might have to stay on top of that wheel route. But if he's in the middle of the field, he should be okay and be able to make a play on the ball when the ball's in the air. But there's your deep 3. Now, going back, okay, to the cover 3 cloud. Keep in mind, this is your cloud corner. He is on the roll side. Cover 3 cloud. Alright. This has been a basic video discussing the basic coverage rules of a cover 3 cloud. There's benefits to every coverages, strengths and weaknesses. You know, weigh your options. And but this is another way or another wrinkle in the defensive coverage system that you can employ to try to disguise some coverages or make it hard for the offensive coordinator and the offensive quarterback and their players to read your defense and guess what kind of coverage you're running. So, basic cover 3 cloud. Hope this video has been beneficial, whether you're a player, a coach, or a fan, has added to your knowledge of the game. If you'd like to see a video in the future, as always, leave a comment in the comment section or email me at xzandos.com, and there will be more videos to come. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.